I'm Matt Avery, and today I'm on the move. Join me as I travel the country, uncovering history, the cars, and the roads worth taking. I hit the biggest events in museums, dig into legendary collections, and always take the scenic route, because every mile has a story. I'm in Melbourne, Florida at the American Muscle Car Museum, taking a look at two very different eras of Shelby Performance, a 427 Cobra and a Series 1. This is where Carroll Shelby forged his name in the performance world. And with the museum's collection also including a Series 1, the last vehicle project that Carroll was personally involved with, let's see how these two extreme machines stack up. Hey Ed.
Welcome back to the American Muscle Car Museum, and welcome to the American Muscle Car Museum Maintenance Shop.
And there's so much cool stuff to see in here, Ed, but what we're focused on is this pair in front of us. Man, what a fantastic group.
You know, you couldn't ask for a better car to talk about today. We're surrounded by Shelbys in the shop right here. But here we go, a 1966 AC Shelby 427 Cobra. I mean, these are iconic cars. You look at them, you know them, you hear them, it puts a smile on your face. I mean, this one, in a sense, started out life as a street car. This has some of the competition mods on it, which to me, I look fantastic. You've got the side pipes, the hood scoop, and the roll bar. You know, the tires for a little bit of road racing, you know, that adds to it. But to me, this is just such an iconic car. And of course, you go under the hood about this thing, you know,
man, piece of jewelry.
It definitely is. And you can see this is all meant for weight savings. You got a, you know, aluminum skin, very thin as far as the support on the side. You look on the side, you got the Carroll Shelby from Shelby America plate right there. This body number is CSX3210. You know, you've got the side oiler 427. This was actually nicknamed, in a sense, the turkey pan, because, you know, people, in a sense, thought they were, you know, look like a turkey. I don't know if I agree with that, but there you go.
But it really is functional. I mean, with that hood scoop, drawing fresh air and making sure that the engine got all that power from that.
Absolutely. And you can see this has some of the competition mods still on it as far as the distributor, the plug wires, you know, the radiator. In a sense, we felt that was part of the history of the car and left it. But here again, it is very straightforward, very easy to work on, lots of room there. And, you know, you couldn't ask for more from a power plant.
Roughly, what kind of output would this put out? I'm sure it wasn't the advertised number. I'm sure that was a lot lower than what it's truly capable of.
You're going to be somewhere around in that 460 to 500 range, depending on the tune, and same with the torque. I mean, these had a lot of bottom end to it, but, you know, this is Ford's bulletproof motor. In a sense, I think a high performance motor, I'm thinking 427. You know, and you take this here, and what does it go into? A top loader 4-speed, which is iconic from Ford. And of course, you look at the shifter, they didn't have much room to work with. They basically took a 1966 Mustang shifter and spun it around. So in a sense, hey, we've got a shifter that works in this car. What did you think of driving it?
I don't think there was a crowbar big enough to get the smile off my face, Ed, the entire time. I mean, the car is just raw, raucous, and it's rowdy, and I didn't care.
It is.
It's just, you feel at one with the car because you're so low. And like you said, it's not ergonomically designed, it's not for comfort, it's not for long distance, but it's just such a brute in terms of big engine, small car, and it works so well together.
You know, you look at this, in a sense, Carroll Shelby started back with these in 1962, making the 289 cars. They were called slab size, in a sense, they're a little skinnier. You know, it's evolved to a 427. The stance on this is just incredible, the way it looks. It handles better. Now, the neat part about this, like every Cobra, this has a lot of history to it, especially being one of the original ones like this. This was purchased brand new at Tasca Ford in April of 1966. And of all things, this was a high school graduation present.
No way.
Heck of a dad.
I want to see that report card. How good were that student's grades?
Must have been off the charts. Hopefully he got a good scholarship to wherever he went.
So a high school or graduation present, and then what evolved over the next couple of years?
Next couple of years, he drove it to 1968. He decided he wanted a new Corvette, so he traded it off for $1,500 towards the trade-off. And the last time I spoke with him, he regretted that decision. It's, you know, it had a little race history to it. In a sense, it was actually one time owned by the banjo player in the movie Deliverance. And it was restored in the late 70s and has gone through a couple owners. And now it has home at the American Muscle Car Museum, where it is serviced and taken care of and shown to thousands of people that come through here every year. This is something that, you know, Ryan has just finished a full service on, did a fantastic job of it. And what did you think of how it drove?
I loved it, Ed. It's driving performance in its purest form. That simple formula of small car, big engine, and lots of power. And I think the other thing that is extremely noteworthy about the Cobra is the fact that it wasn't just a race car. It was a street legal machine as well. Like you said, with that original owner, a lot of them did see regular street use. And I think that's what makes these cars just that much cooler and that much more legendary. Fast forward several decades, and that brings us to the Series 1. How did this car come about?
Now, this came about from John Rock, who was in the charge of Oldsmobile at the time, and Carroll Shelby were friends, and they kept talking about what can we do to make the new supercar or something, the continuation of the Cobra. And to make funding for the car, they enlisted 17 dealers that were participating, and for them 17 dealers, they had a $50,000 buy-in, but for buying in, you got to be exclusive and buy the cars at wholesale. Now, as they evolved in 1994, the first clay mock-up was all things done at a men's correctional center in Nevada, and the first production started in 1995 and stuff like that. But you know, we talk about John Rock and we talk about Carroll Shelby. There was a lot of people in Team Shelby that helped this go, and there really was in that part. You know, and then they get to the point, you talk about the frame. The frame is, for the time, is off the charts as far as what it could do. 6160 aluminum alloy, you know, heat treated, very stiff. The floorboards and the rocker panel areas are actually, in a sense, made to be stiffer and help the car out. And this had a Hertz rating. And of all things, I'm not talking about Hertz rent-a-car, I'm talking about a Hertz mathematical formula that in a sense shares the stiffness of a vehicle. And what I mean by this has a rating of 52, and at the time, Corvettes about the same time had the low 20s. You know, 27 to 30 was considered excellent, so to have something at 52, and the suspension, you may have heard of this company, Multimatic, they helped out designing the suspension for this car. So as we look under the hood of this, you come up here, Matt, I'll have you open the hood. Nice big hood, you can get to the underside, see it all, work on it well. But you look at the front suspension here, it's got the cantilevers on each side, and also what do you see? Where's the motor placed at?
Placed far back for that weight distribution.
This car almost has a 50-50 weight distribution, which is unheard of. So as far as that, and you look at the power, how it gets to the ground, you know, you got your Speedline wheels. They had way upgraded brakes from what the original Cobras were. You know, you're 12-inch on the front, 13-inch on the back. And as far as the power for this beast, the Olds Aurora, of course, John Rock with Oldsmobile, the new Aurora engine with a 4-liter, the modification Shelby would make with the cold air intake, updated camshaft, and a little bit of tune on it, you get around 340 horsepower. Now they also offered, very limited, a supercharged version which would kick it up around 450 horsepower. Now power to that would go into a 6-speed transaxle, not a transmission, but a transaxle. And you know, you see this type of car here, the exterior on it, the body panels are both made of a carbon and a fiberglass material. These were made by Venture. They had a lot of trouble with them getting the panels to fit right, longevity and stuff like that, but they finally came around on it. The exterior, the majority of these were done in silver, but like with Carroll Shelby, you could get any color you want. Stripes were an option. You could get stripes just on the front, or you could get stripes like this car from nose to tail. But you look at the front bumper, you know, it's got the oval in a shape. It's like the original Cobra. You can kind of see it's there. You look at the side fins that you had mentioned there, and you even come around to the tail of the car. You got the exposed gas cap and the round tail lights like the original Cobra.
And I'm seeing a couple of familiar items in the cabin. It looks like they borrowed some from the other GM models from the time.
Yeah, I think they kind of cleaned out the parts room at the GM place there. Now, how did you think about driving this car versus driving the original one?
Oh man, well, I will say they're definitely cut from the same cloth. Again, this one, a little bit more refined, not as rowdy, but definitely just as much fun. A very unique experience. I loved it.
Yeah, now to me, this is part of Carroll Shelby's history. I mean, there's a lot from him winning Le Mans in 1959, you know, to where you have in the modern Shelbys, and they've continued on. But you know, this is an incredible car, and you know, the production on these was 249. They meant to have 500. This car is actually number 124, and it has a Carroll Shelby CSX number to it. You know, and this is neat that this is part of the history, and this is also part of our Shelby collection here at the American Muscle Car Museum.
From the Cobra to the Series 1, Carroll's legacy lives on. And performance, it was his business, and it's what drives and fuels enthusiasm for the products he created even today. A huge thanks to Mark Pylock and his incredible collection here at the American Muscle Car Museum. Hertz, Shelby's, and a whole lot more, you'll find it here.